in the nick of time. How's everybody doing? Sorry, we're a couple minutes late. Sometimes that's just how the world works. So really glad to have you all with us, and I'm excited to be here with you. And so
happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Yeah. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about, like tips and stuff for visiting Albania. Somehow we started with 7 and we're down to 5 people since I started talking. Maybe it's better for us not to be on.
We do better when we're not here.
It seems that way. Now back up to 7. All right. Welcome back. Woo! Glad to have you back wherever it was. So
I don't know who's on yet because I haven't had it. Hi, Jeff, you're here. Hey, good to see you. Sorry, hold on. I don't have the comments pulled up yet, so I can't see who's. They pop up on our phone and then they disappear, but we tend to read them on the computer.
Just bear with us for a second, folks, while we get ourselves situated here. Sorry, once again, sorry that we came in late.
They were on time.
They were all on time, yeah, including the 2 people who left once I started talking.
Oh shoot! I'm gonna need to get my charger. All right,
hello,
John
Spider
is here.
Hello,
Spider Webster, Dan. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. Amers, good to see you. Good to see all y'all.
Oh, so goodness, I'm in Washington State, and it is cold, but nothing on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, is that one of the areas? Yeah, I hear there's like somewhere starting in the Midwest. I think they actually have a lot of cold weather coming, but I don't know too much about the weather over there.
Yeah, so if you're on the East Coast, I bet you're getting ready to hunker down for some really nasty weather. So good luck to you guys, and I don't envy you. We've had a pretty mild winter so far. We've had some wind and some snow, but
hi, Michelle.
Nothing too bad. Hello, Michelle.
I look down here when I say hi because I'm looking at the comments. Hi, Michelle. All right, I'm gonna grab my charger, but I'll be right back.
Okay. So, like I was saying, tonight we're going to talk about basically like some tips for visiting Albania. Even in Texas, apparently, Ted Cruz is suddenly on vacation. Yeah, he always goes on vacation when it's cold there, apparently. So, tonight we're going to talk about coming to Albania on like vacation and stuff, on like, do's and don'ts, some things to watch out for and things to be aware of. And some of this is just like general travel tips that no matter where you're going, these are certain things that you should be aware of. And I'll start with money, basically. So number one, it's always good to watch the exchange rate. That's an important thing.
Something that I did not take into consideration when I first moved here, which is such a rookie mistake. Like when I never factored in the fact that my rent could actually change based on the exchange rate.
Yeah, that's a thing. So
it's a thing.
The dollar has been really tanking lately, so it's a problem.
Yeah.
But it's just a good idea to factor these sorts of things in and kind of be aware of how to estimate what your costs are going to be. Figuring out what the conversion rate is so that you can, when you go out to a restaurant or something like that, you have a good idea of what
you're actually spending. Yeah. I know when we first came here, if something was like 4,000 lek, we just always thought, well, it's like $40. But with the exchange rate being different, he's already starting.
It's already being a problem.
It's more like what, like $44, really, or $45, and depending on the amount. When it's a bigger amount, obviously that can really change your budget. Actually, it's probably even more than that now.
Yeah.
So like my rent would be, I always think, well, it's $400. But it's not. It's 400 euros, which right now is closer to $500.
We're just going to make Gato part of the show tonight.
Yeah, I fed him right before this started, and I was hoping that would keep him satisfied so that we could do this live stream without his interruptions. But apparently that wasn't enough.
Yeah, cats will be cats. So obviously, something that's important. Now, Albania is unique because we have a closed currency here, which is called the lek. And that can kind of create a bit of a problem for travelers. And then, like, let's say you're going to Germany or France and you're using the euro. That's really easy because you can go to your local bank in the U.S. and they don't usually have it on hand, but you can usually order it and say, hey, I would like, 4,000 euros. And later that week you can come in and pick them up. And then whenever you land in whatever European country you're going to, you've got that cash. Now, Albania being a closed system, they actually don't have that. So you're not going to be able to get LEC in the United States. You're not going to be able to go to your bank and order, $4,000 worth of LEC so you have cash on you, which means you'll end up landing in the country without any cash. And it is less so than it used to be. It's kind of a cash country. It used to be like all cash. Like when I first started coming here, you couldn't go out to a restaurant. You couldn't use your card really anywhere. Hotels, like everybody wanted cash. Nowadays, pretty much everybody will take a card.
There's still some times where I'm really surprised. Maybe not in restaurants, but like I think the pharmacy, the doctor's office that I went to, like it was.
The pharmacy didn't take cards?
I don't think so.
Well, some of them do.
They?
I've used my card at a
so many of
pharmacy,
them.
but maybe not all of them.
I feel like I tried, but also like the doctor's office and things like that. Like certain places, you would kind of expect them to take a card, and they don't.
Well, the big thing would be like if you're coming, if you're flying in, and you want to get a cab, like the cab might not take cards. Some do, but some. Yeah,
I would say most of them don't.
Yeah, most of them probably don't.
Even the ones there's an app, you can schedule it and have them come pick you up, and then you still have to pay cash in some cases. Yeah,
so that can be a real issue for some people. And this is basically the tip. So you want to avoid exchanging money at the airport because you're going to get a terrible rate.
Oh yeah, we made that mistake.
But you might need to, but keep it to an absolute minimum. Like less than $50, just so you have money for a cab and to get somewhere where you can get to a bank.
I was nervous coming into the country with no cash, and we had euros. And so I went to the exchange in the airport because I didn't know how easy it was going to be to find one. We had never been here before. And so I just exchanged my money and was really surprised at how little I got back. So the exchange rate's already bad enough, but it's going to be really bad at the airport. So just get the bare minimum. And then go find a bank. And this is what I would recommend if you don't already have one, is to get like a Schwab or a Fidelity account. These are really great accounts to have to travel with because they will reimburse your ATM fees. And that's a big deal because you can end up with some pretty big ATM fees. That's really important. If you're coming here, obviously you can't get LEC at your bank. You're going to need to get a little bit at the airport, but then you're going to need to find an ATM at a bank or an open bank, depending on what time of day you come in, so that you can exchange your money and or you can bring, the other thing is you can bring U.S. dollars, and there are lots of exchanges in pretty much every city. They're very ubiquitous. Where you just walk in, there's a counter, and you give them U.S. dollars, and they'll give you LEC in exchange. I had a hard time when we were in Toronto finding exchanges that would exchange USD for a period of time, and then eventually that changed. But it seemed like there was a period of time where several of them wouldn't exchange to USD. I feel like you can't throw a rock without hitting an exchange in Toronto or anywhere. Yeah, but we had a couple of them around us, and I tried to exchange. I had a little bit of USD on me, and they just wouldn't. That's really strange. Yeah, and I actually I went to a restaurant, and the waiter was like, "Someone gave me $100. Can we exchange this?" Like he would exchange it. He asked me if we would exchange it with him because he realized we were Americans. Because he said the exchanges wouldn't exchange it for him. I've never had that problem. And it doesn't seem to be a problem anymore. But it was for a period of time. I've never experienced that. But anyway, be aware, I guess. But you'll find. There are times where I've walked down the street and there's been an exchange next to another exchange that was across the street from an exchange. Next to a Eurosig. Next to a Eurosig. So I don't think you'll have a problem with that if you bring some American cash. But if you don't want to travel with cash, highly recommend
a Fidelity or a Schwab card,
Yeah.
because then you can use a bank ATM and they will reimburse your fees, and that's really a big deal.
I was surprised how much we got back in fees last year.
Yeah.
Like it was like hundreds of dollars.
I mean, they'll charge you, $7, $8 just to use an ATM.
Mhm.
So that's important. Now, this is another really important thing to know as a traveler when you come here. When you use an ATM, sometimes it will offer to convert the money for you, and it's very confusing. It's like you almost like, well, what does that mean? Is it going to, like, if I don't do this, is it going to like give me US dollars, which is not what I want? Or it's really strange. Like, do you want to convert? Always hit no, because they will give you a terrible exchange rate. If you hit no, and they usually ask you twice. They're like, oh, no, proceed without conversion. And then it'll be like, do you want to proceed without conversion? It's like, yes, proceed without conversion. Do not convert. Because this way you'll get the exchange rate of your bank. So Schwab is going to give you a much better, or Fidelity will give you a much better exchange rate than the bank will give you here. So,
and I didn't know that for a while when we first moved here, and I would just let it convert for me. And I mean, it would cost me an extra $14 to take out like $400 or $500 or something like that. Like, it was a lot.
Actually, it can be considerably more than that even. So be really careful with that, and always use a bank ATM. Don't go, like, I think it's Euronet. You'll see these like little independent ATMs,
Euronet,
especially in touristy areas. Under no circumstances use those, because I don't even think they offer you the conversion thing, and they will charge you up to like 17% fee to use the ATM.
Yeah.
Which is, and you won't get that reimbursed. That won't be the ATM fee. That'll be the conversion rate. And they're really just bending you over and taking your money.
Yeah.
So never use any of those freestanding ATMs you see in tourist areas. And this isn't just Albania. This is all over Europe. I mean, we were in Germany, and they're everywhere. And it's like, you and I was like, we're looking for an ATM. And like, oh, we can go use it. It's like, no. We are going to find a bank. There's no way we'll ever use those ATMs, because they will absolutely just rob you. So that's really important. Fidelity or Schwab card.
Tim's here.
Hi, Tim. Use a bank ATM, and do not use the conversion. Like that. These are cardinal sins. I mean, you'll end up paying, some banker is going to go out and have a good meal on you if you do these things. So I think,
to know.
Yeah, really, really important. And
all the mistakes that I made when we first moved here.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, look, I remember the first time I came to Europe, I needed an ATM, and I was like, oh, here's this Euronet ATM, and luckily I read everything, and I was like, that fee is insane. So I just took my card back out, and eventually I found the bank and dealt with it that way. But if you're fresh off the plane, you're excited about vacation, it's like, oh, I just put the card in, this is how many euros I want, get it out, and then you get home and you look at how many dollars they took.
It's a lot.
Like, holy
of dollars.
Holy crap! I mean, they took 18% of what I bought. So those are really important points, and something I can't drive home enough. The other thing, and this is also important, and it's kind of related to it, when it comes to any kind of bank card you have, again, Schwab and Fidelity, they reimburse your ATM fees. I know my Capital One card does not. So even though that's a massive bank, that's not a card you want to travel with. So you might want to, if you're a Capital One person, I don't know about Citi or Bank of America, but I know that Schwab and Fidelity will reimburse your ATM fees. So even if you don't have an account with them and you plan on traveling, I highly suggest you open an account.
Yeah, I think I got like $700 back in 1 year from ATM fees. That's a lot.
That's a lot of money. Well, of course, we live here, So
well, yeah.
So it's a year. You might only be on vacation for a week or two, but nonetheless, I mean, you don't want to. Who wants to give a bank extra money for nothing, right?
$700 extra.
So that's important, and then also, kind of congruent to that would be like any cards you bring, credit cards or bank cards that you plan on using. Make sure before you leave that you contact the institution and let them know that you're going to be traveling. Because
made that mistake too.
So you don't want to end up getting here and then none of your cards work, and then you're locked out of your cards, and then it's like, what do you do? Like and then you're trying to make international calls, and you might not have a SIM card yet, so you can make a call to the U.S. So then you're just trying to figure out how you can get in contact with your bank, and it can be, and then if we have a time difference, your bank might not be open where you are. So these are the sorts of things that could be a real problem.
Yeah.
So make sure you notify your bank before you travel.
Yeah. Brenda McGannon, good to see you. Thanks for being here. So can I give a tip?
Please.
So my tip is taxis. I have a tip about taxis here in Albania. So Albanians tend to be very honest, hospitable, wonderful people. There's not a lot of issues here with, I wouldn't say none, but there's way less issues with like pickpocketing and petty theft and things like that than some other places.
Very little. This is a place where like I would leave my laptop open at a cafe and use the restroom.
Oh, absolutely. I've been dining out and I leave my purse. Sitting alone, and I go to the bathroom.
However,
I recommend if you're getting in a taxi, you want to make sure they have a meter. Make sure they turn on the meter when you leave. And if they don't have a meter, negotiate the price ahead of time or just don't get in. The only time I feel like I've ever been ripped off in Albania is with taxis, particularly in Toronto when I got in taxis and I wasn't paying attention. I just let them go. And then I'm driving, I look and they don't have a meter. And I had one guy take me like to the hospital and it was like a $3 trip. He had the meter on. And I got into a cab without a meter, took the same trip a couple of days later, no meter. I'm like, oh shoot. And he's asking me like where I'm from. And when I get out, he charged me $7. And I was like, well, shoot. What am I going to do? So we have some really good, honest, wonderful taxi drivers. I'm not saying they're all shady, but I do think you could save some money if you negotiate ahead of time or make sure they're running their meter when you're driving.
Yeah, I mean, and we're lucky as people who live here. We have our guy, we have our guy for this, we have our guy for that. We have, so we have our taxi drivers that we trust. And like you, even before you met me, like you had a taxi driver here that was just like charging you insane amounts of money to
double what like you get
double
charged.
Or triple even, and then you took a cab with me.
And I was surprised how cheap it was.
You paid like 50 euros to this guy to take you somewhere, and like we went with my guy and it was like 8. So you got to be careful with the cab drivers, but I mean obviously there are some very honest ones out there. I don't think I've ever had a situation where I've had a cab driver rip me off. It might be because I'm a man or something. Maybe that plays into it a little bit.
It could. Maybe I just look like a lost puppy. I look like an easy target. And I mean, it's, again, we've had plenty of honest taxi drivers. It's just, when you're being ripped off.
We've had we've had taxi drivers that like didn't want to take our money.
Yeah.
So it's been
our guy in Toronto. We have to make sure he doesn't undercharge us. Yeah. And there's a couple times where we just had to give him more money because he just wasn't charging enough.
Yeah. Spider Webster was chiming in that Tirana's not exactly like Pogradec, and I think she's referring to like the laptop and purse thing. So
sure. Don't
leave your stuff out. And then have a
That's a really good disclaimer.
And then be upset with us. You guys like, well, Craig and Andrea said it would be fine.
I was in Korcha. I was in a little restaurant, and there was nobody there. Like, please don't leave your purse and walk away, or your laptop. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out.
Just saying that the vast majority of people here are extraordinarily honest, and to the point where I've actually had people chase me down for things.
To give you something back.
Give me something back. I've left my phone at places and stuff like that.
I've had that happen too.
I left my sunglasses on a bus coming to and from Korcha. Mm-hmm. And there was a guy I didn't even know, but he had recognized me. He works at one of the restaurants here, and he had recognized me from coming in that restaurant. And apparently I left my sunglasses on the bus. Didn't realize I left them on the seat. Mm-hmm. And he grabbed them. And then a couple of weeks later, I was in that restaurant. He comes up to me. He's like, "Oh, I've been waiting to see you. I have your sunglasses. I was like, oh, the Lacoste? And he's like, yeah, the Lacoste sunglasses. And I was like, oh, that's great, thank you. And he's like, just come back tomorrow and I'll have them here for you. So like most people here are
Very
really,
honest.
really honest,
Yeah.
really good people. However, they do also have a saying in Albania that even in the most beautiful forest, you'll find a pig.
Yeah.
So you've got to watch out for the occasional bad guy. But,
Yeah.
For the most part, people here are very honest and very good. And multiple times I've left my phone places and had people chase me down to give it back to me. So, including on the bus once. So that's that's generally how that kind of goes. But yeah, like Andrea said, if you get into a cab,
make sure they have a meter. Make sure they turn it on or negotiate ahead of time.
Yeah, and a lot of times they won't have a meter, and you actually get a better price if they don't run the meter, but they'll give you a price ahead of time.
That's true. I mean, most of the guys in town don't have meters, but we kind of know like how much it should cost. Like from here to the other side of town, it's $4. To your place, it's $5.
Yeah.
Or 500 lek.
I know, like our guy, he usually charges us like 70,000 or 7,000, which is like $80 to go from here to Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And he left the meter on once. It just happened to be on.
Mm-hmm.
And if we went with the meter rate, it would have been like 120.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big difference.
I had someone leave the meter on from here to Toronto, and it was 110.
Yeah.
And I gave him a tip, so it was like 115 or whatever.
Yeah. So it's a good tip. I guess we'll stay on transportation. You don't have to take cabs. Cabs are pretty compared to the United States or the rest of Europe.
Yeah,
cabs
that's true. They are still really inexpensive.
Yeah, just especially traveling locally. Occasionally we need to take a cab here in Pogradec, or the buses in Pogradec will stop running at 4 or 5 o'clock, depending on where you're going. And so sometimes we'll need to go out to my house, or we'll have to come from my house to here in the evening. And we have our guy, and he charges us 500 lek, which is like $6 one way. So I mean that's pretty inexpensive compared to the U.S., where I don't even think you can get into a cab for $6.
Yeah.
So Dan from Shenzhen, our friend Dan, he chimes in. No Uber or Lyft here, so that's a good tip. Thanks for pointing that out, Dan. Yeah, so there is no Uber or Lyft, but there are plenty of taxis, and the bus system is really good. Now they might not have air conditioning. We'll get into like what time of year you should come here too later on, but yeah, be aware that the bus system here is really good. You're not going to necessarily need to either rent a car or to take taxis.
Yeah, you can get to all the cities with a bus, and even the smaller villages. Once you go to a big hub, but there are problems.
Yeah, I mean, so it might take longer, and you might have to change buses. So it's not going to be as direct, but it'll be way less expensive. So my ride, like going from here to Korcha on a bus, it is like $2. If you did that in a cab, it would be probably 50 or 60.
We do have a couple questions coming, just so you know.
Yeah, let's take a few questions.
So I've just been scanning over the comments. I'm going to try my best to make sure I'm grabbing the questions out. If I happen to miss you, that was not intentional. I apologize. Amer says, silly questions. Are the exchanges like in some countries where they will give you a local currency from your debit card?
I don't think so. No, it's basically you bring in cash and they give you cash. If you have your debit card, you use the ATM. And like I said, if you just came to the discussion here, Fidelity or Schwab will reimburse your ATM fees, and never do the conversion rate. Just say no to the conversion.
Let's see. Europats have a question. What about fear? Let me go back and see what. Are we live? We're back.
We lost connection for a second there, guys. I don't know what happened. Hopefully we're back live. That was really strange. We don't usually lose connection here. We should have done. I should have put my phone on the regular mode. So anyway, looks like we're back. Sorry, we lost connection for a second. I don't know why. Lately, when we've been doing live streams, we've been doing it from our cellular service, and that's worked out better.
Yeah.
Sometimes
done that.
the internet was bad at my house. We never had a problem here, and I just upgraded my internet, so that won't be a problem. But it happened here at your house.
Yeah,
so
sorry. We're back. All right, so question from the Europats. They want to know, they have 3 places on the radar, Vlora, Shkodra, Pogradec, and it looks a little bit further down there asking about fear as well. And they want to know, if we were to start all over, which place would you actually choose? You go first.
I haven't been to Shkodra. I really would like to see it. It looks like a really nice town. I've never been to Fear either. There were several reasons I chose Pogradec, but I moved here from Maine. I don't really like hot weather. I lived in Florida for a while and I was miserable. I don't want to ever see Florida again. Like, it's like living in a crock pot. It was just awful.
I liked it.
But so I chose Pogradec based on the fact that it has the big lake, and it's got a high enough elevation that it stays pretty mild here in the summer. And the lake also contributes to that mildness. It creates a microclimate. So it's beautiful here. We have beautiful mountains. We're kind of far away from the really touristy parts of Albania, which I wasn't that interested in. But my reason for choosing Pogradec, or one of my top 3 reasons for choosing Pogradec, was climate. So I would choose either here or Korcha or somewhere in this area again, where we're at this elevation and the summers aren't, like 105 degrees. I can't handle that. It gets into the 90s here, but it's usually passing, and it always cools way down at night. I don't have air conditioning, and I haven't needed it at all. I open up at night, close my doors in the morning. My house stays cool all day. So
yeah, I was really surprised that you made it through the summer with no air conditioning, even on the hottest days. I didn't, because I'm at the top of a building here, and it just got way too hot up here. So I ended up buying air conditioners. But,
or she'd come to my house before she had air conditioners. And it was like, you would come into the house like, oh my God, it feels like you have air conditioning.
Yeah, it was surprisingly cool in your place. So for me, I've never been to Vlora or Shkodra or Fear. I've been actually to surprisingly few places around this country, which is really unfortunate. But hopefully this year we're going to get to like all the rest. But anyway, Shkodra looks beautiful, and I love that they have a lake and mountains and hiking. But I have heard that you can kind of get snowed in up there, which isn't like that big of a deal. It's not like we drive around that much. So that might be something to consider. But I think I would probably like Shkodra quite a bit, but you're going to get a lot more snow in the winter, like a lot more apparently. Vlora looked beautiful. It was high on my list, but I will say in the time from when I started looking into moving to Albania, which was about maybe 2 years ago, 2.5-ish, whatever it was, to now, prices seem to have really skyrocketed in Vlora, and it's out of my budget now. Like that's not a place that I would really consider anymore just because of my budget. But it looks nice.
Yeah.
I really like Pogradec.
Yeah,
I think I would still pick Pogradec. Now, Fear, I don't think either of us have been to Fear.
I've been.
Have you?
I've been to places around Fear, but I haven't been to Fear proper. I think I maybe drove through it once. I've been through, with the exception of northern Albania, I've actually been to most everywhere. Fear being the exception, and I've been to Vlora. I love Vlora. Vlora's great.
It looks like there's some really amazing hiking near Vlora.
There's a lot of really amazing things in Vlora. It's a really nice town. It's a city. It's a relatively large city. So one of the advantages of Vlora is you can get anything you need there. It's like,
and they have an airport going in. That's in.
Potentially having an airport.
Well, it's in. It's there. I think
they're having trouble with regulations, and there's some issues with it. There was an airport somewhere in the north too.
Oh, that's right.
And that ended up never becoming an airport. Actually, I think it was an airport for a while, but then it got closed down. It was the same thing. They had regulatory problems, and that might happen in Florida, but maybe not. But anyway, it's a big city, and it's on the coast. It's beautiful. When I first started looking, I did consider Vlora, and if it weren't for the heat, that would have been a really good choice. And the prices were much lower then. It's a very good location. You're close to the Riviera, and you're close to Tirana, relatively speaking. So it's Vlora is a really nice place. If you can afford Vlora and you don't mind heat and like festivities in the summer. We'll get into that, and, later on in the discussion about some of these places can be maybe a little bit too exciting for some people, especially in the high season. So,
do you want to take one more question before we move on to our other stuff? Amers says, "Is tipping the taxi drivers appropriate?"
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you have to, but you don't really have to tip anywhere. But it's always nice to, especially if you have a good taxi driver.
Do you think the Albanians tip?
I doubt it.
I've heard that Albanians, like if your bill is like 540 lek, you'll round up to the next, sort of like rounding up to the next dollar for a tip. Like that's common. Like keep the change. Yeah. But I don't think tipping is that much expected. We do. We come from the U.S. where it's common. I would say, maybe they don't, if you're going to tip, maybe tip less than you think, which kind of sounds rude, but like I used to tip like $10 or like 1,000 lek to like my hairdresser, the taxi driver, because that would be kind of normal in the U.S. But here, that's like a really huge tip. Yeah.
They'll look at you a little strange. I've
had people just outright refuse it, and I'm like, maybe I'm overdoing it. I don't want to.
I think it's becoming more typical here, but it's like a small gratuity goes a long way. Don't overdo it. You also don't want to come off as like, oh, I'm the American. Here's all this money, because it can also
right. I don't want to come, and that's what I mean. Like I don't want to like be too offensive by like trying to act like I'm trying to act like a high roller. I was just trying to be whatever's appropriate.
Kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier with how honest people here are.
Yeah.
With like, oh, I could leave my laptop on a table at a restaurant and not have to worry about it. Kind of. I left a tip. I was in Eurocaster. This was like 4 years ago, and I had lunch. It was like a $7 lunch, and I left a like $1 tip.
Mm-hmm.
And leaving the restaurant, I was like a block away. And the waiter was running after me with my one. It was with 100 lek, which is a little bit less than $1, or a little bit more than $1. And he's like, "Oh, you forgot, you overpaid." And then I was like, "Oh no, man, it was for you." So I think now they understand that a little bit more. But like just a couple of years ago, leaving a tip would confuse someone.
And we know. I've heard about one of our friends in town had a recent experience where they left a tip, and then they went to the same place the day after, a couple days later, and they're like, "Oh, you left this money, or you gave us too much money," and they're like, "No, that was your tip."
Yeah. So my recommendation, if you're traveling here, and obviously you're used to like leaving 20%. People like the waiters here get a regular like whatever the minimum wage is,
mm-hmm.
whereas in the U.S.
They don't get minimum wage.
They don't even get close to minimum wage. I think the minimum wage in the U.S. is something like $7.50. Like the federal minimum wage is
higher than that now.
Well, it depends on what state you're in.
Yeah.
Like Maine, I think the minimum wage is $15, but that's not federal. That's state.
Gotcha.
So if you're in like Potwater, Alabama, the minimum wage is they go by the federal, which is like $7.50. But if you're wait staff, you might only get like $2.25 an hour because they expect you to make your money off tips. It's not like that here. Waiters get like a regular salary, so it's not expected to tip, but it's always nice. So, if you go out and you have 2,000, we'll say $20, worth of food, you can leave 100 lek and $1 or whatever, and that's fine. And don't overdo it and
don't underdo it.
Yeah, you probably could underdo it because most Albanians don't tip, but it's like it's nice. It's just nice. Like, hey,
Also, here's something that just popped in my head. So we learned this at our language class. We were, the waiter messed up our bill, and he gave me a receipt that I had already paid. And because he made this other ticket, this other receipt, apparently they expected him to pay that instead of just voiding it out. It was our understanding that it was his responsibility to pay that. It was like a couple dollars. But I was like, no way. Like, we'll pay. I don't care. It's a couple. I'll cover it. But I just felt so terrible that they expected him to pay for his just because he
Yeah,
accidentally typed it in twice.
That's really, really bad. And I don't know if this might just be the one place we went.
That's true. We don't know if that's true everywhere, but
that is
Yeah.
pretty lame that it's like
They would
you
make
can
him-
like I'm sure the computer system is there's a way to
there's
avoid.
got to be a way to avoid that out.
But,
Yeah.
yeah,
Poor
it's
guy.
kind of a strange thing. In the same vein, like you don't really need to like if you leave the small one, especially if you get good service. Because here's the thing, like I said, they get like a regular salary, and part of that you have to understand coming here means you're not going to get the same level of service that you get in the U.S. They will come, they'll take your order, they'll bring your food, and then they will disappear. So once your drink is empty, you might have to go find them, or you'll have to try and flag them down. They're not going to ever come and check on you.
I don't think that's like. I think that's just. I'm sensing that that's just kind of how it is in Europe in general. Because we have the same thing in Germany. Like maybe it's considered rude to bother you while you're eating, but they don't come back after that.
Yeah, it's which can be a little frustrating. Obviously, it's nice to be left alone, but
when
also
you want to be left alone, but then when you want something,
it's like when your water's empty and your beer is empty or whatever. It's nice to have somebody at least look and like make eye contact with. Like, that's what they won't even make eye contact. Like it's like you're
not even looking to see.
Every time they pass by, you're like trying, and then you just have to get up.
That's not always the case, but it certainly has been a few times. I do want to say we've had a couple new people popping in the chat, so I just want to say hi to y'all. I do apologize. We're not going to be able to read all the comments out loud today, but I do appreciate everyone participating. Feel free to share anything you want to share, and we will try to get to any questions. So if I see a question mark pop up, we will try to answer it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the basic etiquette. You can leave a small tip, and don't expect the same kind of service that you get in the U.S. And if your drink is empty, don't think, okay, well, next time he comes to the table, I'll get it. No, you're going to need to like either wave them down, get their attention, or in some cases, you'll have to go find them.
You'll have to get up and go somewhere.
You literally have to get up and be like, hey, can we get a couple more drinks?
Michelle, I did see that Michelle said, I like that servers don't bother us. I've learned to flag them down. I agree. And I've certainly I was telling Craig about some experiences in the U.S. where I can remember dinners where I was bothered way too much. I felt so rushed and uncomfortable eating because of how much the wait staff was bothering us.
Yeah, there's a happy medium there. I put myself through worked tables when I was in college. And I was always very conscious about making sure people's water stayed full, even if I didn't say anything to them. But you're just not going to get that here. And it's like as Andrea said, that's all of Europe because they're paid a regular wage. No one's out there like hustling for tips. They're just they'll come. They're not being rude. It's just how things are. They'll come. They'll take your order. They'll bring in your food, and then they are gone. And even to get the check, it's like, man, it's like. Don't come here expect them to come back to the table. You will have to get their attention or go find them to pay your check. That's just standard. Do we have any questions or anything?
I hope I didn't miss any. We've missed a lot of comments, but again, I do apologize. I don't think we're going to get.
Thanks for all the comments, people. Thanks for sticking with us, and we really appreciate your
participation.
All of you guys.
It makes it a lot of fun. When you were talking about eating out, something popped in my head that I thought was really cool and interesting that Tona told me the other day. Most of you are probably familiar with the New Bazaar in Tirana. If you haven't been here, you've probably seen it in a video. And there's a bunch of restaurants around there. And there's a couple of restaurants where you can just kind of sit outside and you can see the New Bazaar. They ordered, I think, like a Greek salad or something. And she literally saw her server, go to the bazaar, to the produce stand, and pick out the cucumber, the tomato, the onion, and just buy the produce fresh from the stand, take it back and make their salad. Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
That is
a lot of the restaurants are farm to table, even if they don't advertise it.
Yeah, that's kind of like a standard. It's not something you would advertise. It's kind of standard.
It's standard here. Yeah, to them, that's just kind of normal. The food here tends to be extremely fresh, to the point where I would use that as a marketing piece, but to them, that's just normal. Yeah. You're buying local produce and meats and stuff.
Or the restaurant will have a little farm just on the outskirts of town where they'll do everything from raising pigs and ducks to growing their own produce and everything. So obviously in the off season, they're bringing in produce from other places. But if you come here during the growing season, it's not atypical for you to get a salad that literally came from the proprietor's own garden, basically.
Yeah, I can think of so many places where we learned either in Tirana or here that like the olive oil was from their land, or wine. It's really cool. And you're not paying extra for that freshness, because to them that's just normal.
Yeah, and like the winemaking here is really good. And
it really is.
If you just order like that, if you don't go off the wine list and get some a bottle or something, if you just order the house red, I'd say there's like a 99% chance that it was like made by the owners of the restaurant.
Yeah.
And it's maybe once I had a bad glass of wine that I was like, this isn't so great. Most of the time it's really good. The wine here is superb.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah, I think if you just order the table wine, you won't be disappointed. Including, I'm not a white wine drinker, but I even had white wine at one of the restaurants, and it's like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I like the house whites here too, quite a bit. Wow, we have a serious lag.
Oh.
So I'm reading the comments and kind of watching our live stream on a computer, and I can see that we're actually like 20 seconds behind or more.
That might be because we had that
maybe even longer
connection issue for a second.
Yeah,
we make really good wine. Oh yeah, yes. I'm assuming that's an Albanian.
Oh yes, you do. You absolutely make good wine, good olive oil, good food in general. Yeah.
The food here is absolutely fantastic. When you come here on a trip, you're going to be surprised. Actually, let's get into that a little. If there's no questions, we'll get into that.
No, I do want to say thank you, John. He just he asked everyone to give us likes. So I do appreciate that.
Yes, thank you very much, John. We appreciate it.
But yeah, what were we talking about? Food.
Food. Yeah. So Albania is a rising country. It's growing very quickly. It's modernizing very quickly, and
it's pretty impressive how quickly.
It is very impressive. But don't be surprised when you come here and you see that it's like, oh, well, it's like, where's the Albanian food? Because there'll be a Chinese restaurant, there'll be sushi, there'll be all these lots of Italian food. So if you're going to have a fairly wide selection of,
especially in Tirana, you have quite a.
In Tirana, you find anything.
But I would say there were a lot of places in Tirana that would at least have an Albanian section on their menu. So if they didn't specialize in traditional Albanian food, they might still have like, one part of their menu that was dedicated to that.
So, yeah, that's a thing. It's like most of the world is now, where there's a lot of different types of food that you can get no matter where you're at. And I mean, we had this problem when we were in Germany, where it's like, oh, let's go out. We wanted to get schnitzel and some kind of bratwurst, and we went for a walk just assuming we'll find a German restaurant.
Run into one.
It was like Korean barbecue, Japanese, Chinese, Mexican, all these other things.
Every place we ate was amazing, but it was a little hard to find German food at first. I mean, we ended up finding them, but they weren't as common as we thought. Now, we are specifically talking about Berlin.
Yeah, which is a very multicultural city. But yeah, you might come to Albania, especially like Pogradec, and you'll be like, all right, I want to go have a traditional Albanian meal. And it's like you'll have to like kind of look a little bit. But
yeah, this is something I really disagree with you on. I feel like there's a lot of traditional Albanian food in Pogradec.
I don't think there is.
I feel like there is. There's the Aranci Taverna. There's the Lagenti place. There's that little fast food place right over there. There's Tushimish. Everything in Tushimish and Lynn is traditional.
Is Lagenti traditional? Because last time
it's not traditional.
Last time I was there, I had a schnitzel.
We were just there. The one we were just at. I think like their grilled food is like and Zagara Familia.
Yeah,
we disagree on some things.
We don't disagree. I'm just trying to make the point that
you can get other food for sure.
I was making a long journey to my point was, if you come here,
I was hoping you get there.
you seek out some Albanian food because it's really good.
It's so good.
It won't necessarily, like if you came here 10 years ago, every restaurant probably would have just been Albanian. Mm-hmm. But now, like, you pass all these restaurants like The Change, La Casa, Cabos, and you'll pass a bunch of restaurants that really aren't traditional. It'll be some kind of other like more chic kind of food. So I would recommend trying to find a couple of traditional restaurants wherever you go to visit and experience Albanian food, like Tava Kosi, which is probably my favorite. Which is it's a clay pot, and they have it'll be lamb, marinated lamb and yogurt, and then they'll bake it, and it's just oh my
die
god,
for.
it's so good, really, really good. And they do that with like the yogurt baked with a couple different things, but the lamb is just superb. And then there's what is the pizza that's not a pizza?
LaCroix?
LaCroix, yeah.
There's two different names for it. There's two different styles, but they're very similar. There's LaCroix and something else.
Yeah, and it's basically like a pizza, but it's like the whole pizza is stuffed. So you have dough on top, dough on the bottom. It's like an actual pie, and it's cut
more
up like
pastry-like than a pizza dough. And
yeah,
it's so good.
very good. But it's cut up like it's a round, and it's cut like a pizza, and it's kind of like a pizza, but it's not.
I want to bring up a comment. Easy Alb says there are some hidden gems restaurants in the villages like Malik. In the mountains that, OMG, the best I've tried.
Absolutely.
You know, that's so cool that you bring that up. Like, our favorite restaurants with traditional Albanian food have been in the smallest villages.
Right. And that's where you'll find, like Andrea was saying, you can go to a restaurant here and they'll have a section of Albanian food, but it's usually amongst all the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You go to somewhere like Voskapoja and the restaurant will be Albanian. They're not going to have really anything but Albanian food. And I highly recommend that you seek that out and go and for at least one of your meals, find a super traditional, nothing but Albanian kind of food.
Any chance you remember the name of the place we just went last weekend?
Oh yeah, it was Pelion. In where the ancient Illyrian tombs are, in the village of Celsa. And that was fantastic.
And it's probably easy to find if you at least know where we're talking as far as the tombs, because it's right across. Like when we were eating dinner out the window, we could see the tombs on the hill. And I don't think there's another restaurant near there.
Yeah, and like Pelium is what the name of the ancient city was that was there. And that's the name of the restaurant. Mm-hmm. And it's like I said, this is one of these places. It's in a village, and their whole menu is Albanian. It's like you're not going to get sushi there. You're not going to get fettuccine. It's just going to be Albanian food, and it is super.
So good. Really like good. A small menu, not that many options, but just everything was traditional. Yeah. And there were things like lamb's head and like that entrails mix of like organ meats and stuff.
But also regular
But yeah, and then they had the LaCroix. They had the chicken.
Yeah.
It was just so good.
Absolutely to die for. And
the yogurt was the best yogurt I've ever had in my life. And I'm not even a yogurt person.
And so it was like they make it all themselves too. So they make that bread there. They're making that yogurt from their own cows and their own goats and sheep. And
there's no way it wasn't that most of that food wasn't local because of just the location of it. It'd be easier to shop locally for everything.
Absolutely. Honey, I'm sure that the chicken was running around in the yard a couple hours before we got there. So yeah, really, really fantastic. I highly recommend you seek out a traditional Albanian place, and it will be in like the best places you'll find will be in like stay away from the touristy areas. Find a really cool village. Voskapoja's got our favorite restaurant.
Yeah. What is it called? Taverna Voskapoja?
Taverna Voskapoja. Yeah, shout out to Taverna Voskapoja with superb food. Just superb. God. And then Pelium, I would put that really high on my list too. Yeah. That was really that meal was fantastic.
Yeah, it's one of those meals that like both that and the Voskapoja, Taverna Voskapoja, like I will remember those meals my entire life. They were so good.
So that's you will be able to get like we
spent what, $35? Well, with the conversion, probably $45 on that meal.
Yeah, and we got a liter of wine.
Really good meal.
A full liter of wine too, and so that was not bad.
No.
So and the other food you'll get here is really good too. We have, surprisingly, right here, all the way out in Little Pogradec, we have fantastic sushi. Like,
yes, that was one of those things I just thought I'd have to give up and get used to not having. But we have some of the best, maybe the best sushi I've ever had in my life here in Pogradec.
And in Tirana, there's really superb sushi.
Yeah,
Tirana. That's where I think. I wouldn't say the best sushi in my life was here, but I would put Tirana high on the list. There's a restaurant there called Salt, and it's very chic. It's very nice.
Pretty well known, easy to find.
It's pricey, but it's really, really good. I mean, they have a sea bass carpaccio. It's just, oh God, it's so good.
Yeah.
Like just really, really good. You won't find, I did say Chinese earlier. If you're in Toronto, you will find Chinese. But out away from Toronto, you're going to have a hard time finding Chinese food.
Mm-hmm.
And same goes for Mexican. There's no Mexican food, which makes me sad because
you can make it yourself. We do have a store in town called Naranxi. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's the organic food store. They have several locations around the country, and you can buy a lot of like the Asian sauces, like pretty much anything. Like they have different types of soy sauce and fish sauce and all that, and they also have hard shell tacos.
Oh, they did. That's right. I remember that. You can't get tortillas here. I've seen that. So, but as far as restaurants go, you're not gonna find any Mexican restaurants. Which maybe we should open a Mexican restaurant, Dos Amigos or something like that.
The Europats want to know, how is the Barek?
Barek it depends on where it's different everywhere you go, but it's great. I love Barek.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong with a good Barek.
And because Barek is super local, it's usually very inexpensive. You can go out
typically
and spend
made fresh that morning. Yeah.
Yeah, you can go out and spend a lot of money on a dinner here if you really want to, but you can also just get Barek and it'll be like a couple dollars, and it's very filling. And you can get different ones. Some of them are filled with tomatoes. Sometimes you can get cheese. Sometimes you get spinach and cheese. And I got one accidentally the other day that was all beans.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's interesting.
So, yeah, there are all sorts of different Barek, and that's kind of like that's a local staple. And there's Barek stands everywhere.
Yeah.
And you just eat it on the go. Really good.
Easy Alp says somebody needs to open a taco shop there. There's the business idea.
Yeah, well, Dan says open a taco truck.
Yes, Jesse and I were talking about that today.
Yeah, I mean,
it'd be so fun, but I just don't think it's in our cards.
The hard part would be the ingredients, I think, to really do it right. But you could get close. You could get pretty close.
I think so.
The cheese would be
the cheese. You're right.
Cheese is hard, and cilantro. We can get cilantro.
It's hard to find.
It can be hard, but they're there.
Yeah.
And then like salsa verde, tomatillos. There's a lot of things.
Okay, you're right. Yes,
yeah.
I forgot about the tomatillo. You're right. We can't find that. We can't find them. Well, I don't know. Did Naranxi have the Mexican cheese? They had cheddar. I know that, but they didn't have the.
But that's one of those things where maybe if we ever did open a Mexican restaurant here,
we'd have to have it
once a week. We'd have to go to Toronto and stock up on some things, or get the distributors to start carrying some like Mexican.
Yeah, maybe I bet they would.
Actually, we could. There's so many people here that make cheese. We could probably find a Mexican cheese recipe, and we could probably get it custom done. That's how a lot of things get done here. So it's very old world where, you don't just go out and buy a table. You find somebody who can make you a table. It's kind of.
Spider Webster has a similar idea. You just hire a Mexican cheesemaker.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, that's the food thing. If you come here, make sure you get traditional food. Don't just go to what's ubiquitous or what's easy. Go out of your way, because Albanian food is really delicious. It's it's in between all these other cultures, between Greece and Italy, and there's elements of those in Northern Balkans, like the gavapi, which is like probably one of my favorite things. These little sausage-looking like meat sticks.
Mm-hmm. They call them meatballs, but they're sticks.
Yeah, they call them meatballs, but they're actually like they look like little sausages, and they're popular all over the Balkans, and they are delicious. It's called karnacha here. If you go into more Slavic areas, then it's gavapi. So really good stuff. I used to make it when I lived in the United States. I liked it so much.
Well, I think we have come to the end of the questions.
Okay. So that'll bring us to language. And this is...
The Europats want to know if that's water or moonshine. I am drinking it out of a jar.
That is rakia. That is 100% Albanian rakia.
So rakia would be the Albanian, kind of like a moonshine, I guess, in a way. But this is actually water. He's lying. You would know if I was drinking rakia.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be sitting up.
Oh, you know what? Well, I'll throw this in before we get into language, since we're kind of on food, and we brought up rakia, or I brought up rakia. Real quick, we know we've covered this before, but if you come to Albania and somebody offers you rakia, which will come in a little shot glass, it's basically grappa, and they make it from grapes. They make it from plums. Those are the most common ones, but they'll make it from any fruit. And it's just a clear liquor, and it's very strong. And it comes in a shot glass, and it's a social thing. So, unless you don't drink, you probably should go ahead and have one with whoever is offering it to you. But you sip it. You don't.
Shoot it.
It's not even though it comes in a shot glass.
It'll come in a shot glass. Don't shoot it.
Yeah, it's considered rude, like as though you don't want to talk to that. You're in a hurry, and you don't want to have time for that person. It's meant to be. You have a few sips and you hang out, and then they try to refill it, and then you're like, oh, because you have things to do and you want to get on your way. And it is very strong. You have if you have 3 of those, your day's pretty much over.
If I had one, my day would be over.
Yeah,
I'm very, very lightweight.
Yeah,
I cannot handle alcohol.
Even if you're a medium to heavyweight, 3 of those you're gonna want to take a nap. So
half of one would put me out. Yeah.
But you should, like, if someone offers you some, it's a very typical social thing here. You'll often get offered like an espresso and a rakia. Take a little time out with whoever offered it to you. Sit down with them, spend 15, 20 minutes, sip your rakia, have your espresso. It'll be a cool experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to leave my village without somebody inviting me in.
Yeah. Now, that doesn't happen to me as much. So I think it's more of a man thing. I think if you're a man, you'll be more likely to be offered the rakia. Is that, Yeah,
it is more commonly. Somebody says grappa is made from a restaurant of wine production. No, it actually, Albanians always use the whole fruit. No, actually, it's usually the tail end of wine production, particularly in the villages where every village will have basically a rakia shed. People make their wine, and then they take the must that's left over from when they're done making wine, and they will take that to the rakia shed, and they'll have that processed into rakia. It's not that common for, at least in my experience, for them to take the whole fruit. It's usually tail end of wine production. Lots of wine here too. So yeah, that's been my experience anyway.
I think I missed a question somewhere. Oh, Mapsbolt. Yeah, has seen any mead?
I haven't looked for it. There's an enormous amount of honey production here in Albania. I don't know. I've never seen mead. Have you?
No, I haven't looked for it.
If we asked around, I would look. Albanians can make tire rubber into a tasty alcoholic drink. It's a special talent. I mean, they make rakia and a juniper, all sorts of things. So. I'd be really surprised if there isn't somebody out there making some kind of mead. I imagine it's got to be around. I'll try and ask around for that and see if I can find it.
The Europats want to know: do they have any classes over there for learning the language? Which is a good segue. I see that you had a note about the language.
That was our next
our next
step.
topic.
So usually private, maybe in the capital, you can find some more structured ones. You can find some resources online.
I think there's a lot of just independent people that are willing to meet with you and teach the language. I've heard of people paying as much as 15 euros per lesson. We're currently taking lessons here in town. It's 500 lek, or maybe like €5 per person. And then we meet for usually about an hour and a half.
Yeah, once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Now this live stream was kind of more tailored towards. Although we have lots of people, a lot of you are friends of ours who are watching already live here in Albania. But I wanted to try and keep it tourist centric. Maybe bring in some new people and just offer tips.
We have a pretty good turnout today.
We've got a few new people here, which welcome, by the way. Thanks a lot for joining us. So language. Unfortunately, Albanian is very difficult. It's not going to be like merci, ciao, bonjour. It's like Persian detya. It's like 5 syllables to say hi.
Well, I think the structure of the language is very hard. They have a lot more words in their language as well.
A lot more letters. They have like 30. They have like 70 letters or something.
Not 70.
It's like 33 or something. It's a lot of letters.
So it's a challenging language.
It's a very challenging language.
The verbs, the word will actually change with each pronoun that it's with. So you're not just using one verb like running. Like they'll have 6 different words for running based on whatever the pronoun
It
is.
seems like every word in the sentence changes depending on the weather or
The
who
time
you're
of day.
talking to. It's
It's a
confusing.
challenging language.
But if you're coming here on vacation, it would behoove you to learn just some basics.
The basics go a long way.
Yeah, the people appreciate it.
They appreciate it. Yeah.
One thing that it's kind of easy is yes and no, which can be confusing because it's po and yo.
And I frequently use the wrong one.
Yes,
which is so confusing. And then when you're shaking your heads, and that's opposite, so it can get really confusing.
Yeah, po yo. I don't know. It's that can be very confusing.
Like, yo, look. And then
yes.
I'm shaking my head in like every direction, and like.
Yeah, as Andrea said, like shaking your head like this means no, and like this means yes. So that's a thing that can kind of really confuse people sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you learn, hello, which is like Persian-detya.
Or sieni, which means how are you? That's a common greeting.
That's a common greeting. You could even say mira, which is also
which means good, but I guess
it's like you good. Basically, is kind of like what that is.
So if someone says to you sia or sieni, the response would be mira.
Yeah, mira, which is just
mira.
Good. Yeah. It depends on where it is in this. Again, like it can be mira, it can be mira. It depends on who you're talking to and what the situation is.
So you can say Persian-detya or sieni, skemi, sia.
Yeah.
And then Salamanderet. Thank you.
Thank you. That's probably the most important one. And again, I understand. Like these aren't words that roll off the tongue. Falam and daddy, and it takes
I thought I was
practice.
saying it right, but I've had a few Albanians laugh at me lovingly lately when I say it. And I'm like, I thought I had that down. So apparently, I'm still saying it with a funny accent.
My parents have come to visit a few times, and if they're watching, hello. It took them like 2 weeks before they got Falam down well.
Our Albanian friend says skemi is what's up. I was wondering what the difference was. Because that was actually the first one that I learned was skemi.
Okay.
Okay, interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you. That's very helpful.
Skemi.
Download that into my Albanian file. Hello, Persian-detya, sieni,
Mafal.
Mafal.
It's a really good one to know. It's basically excuse me or I'm sorry.
Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah. So we use that one frequently.
Mafal. Or Neregala, which is kind of the same thing.
That? Oh, really?
Excuse me, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Actually, Mefalni is you don't speak, isn't it?
No, that's excuse me.
Oh, it was Neregal.
Mefal is excuse me. I'm sure of that.
Albanians chime in. Is it Neregal or is it Mefalni?
So when I'm telling someone I don't speak Albanian, I say nuke flash ship.
Yeah.
Nuke is like no flash speak ship with the language nuke flash ship.
Okay, well.
Help.
We've been here for a year and we're still struggling with it.
But we're taking classes.
Yeah. I know a lot of words. I can get around a restaurant.
Sorry.
So that's kind of I can order food and deal with some basic stuff, but it is hard. So what'd you have there?
So Easy Alp says shorter version of saying Falamandera is rosh.
Rosh. Yeah.
So I forgot about that. Yeah.
And that's again. This is thank you.
Supposed to roll your R.
Rosh. So that's thank you. And then goodbye, which is Mirapopsham.
Mirapopsham. Not in the mirrors. Good night.
Not in the mirrors. Good night. So yeah. So now that we don't want to try and turn this into a language lesson because we should not be your teachers.
Clearly.
But yeah, I mean, it helps to learn a few words and at least be able to say hello.
It's just polite, and I think you're right. I think it just goes a long way with the locals. I think they appreciate it.
Yeah.
They might laugh at you lovingly.
But that's people are very sweet, and they'll be good to you. Somebody asked about the menus. A lot of times they'll be in English and Albanian, but not always.
Not always. Yeah, sometimes you have to convert it.
Yeah, if you go to one of those really good village restaurants I'm talking about, there is a chance that it won't be in English, but usually there's a young person there that can help you through it.
Yeah, so, you just get your Google Translate out,
or your Google Translate.
Use the camera feature where it like
translates for you.
for you.
Yeah, we've done that a couple times. And sometimes restaurants will just have English menu. They'll have both an Albanian and an English menu, and they'll take one look at you and know to give you an English menu for sure. So it's never really been a problem. Been a few places where I've had to use Albanian to order, but for the most part, you'll be okay. And a lot of wait staff is young. Older people in this country do not know English. Anyone pretty much over 35, there's a very, very slim chance they're going to be able to speak any English.
Mm-hmm.
People under 35,
pretty good chance.
I'd say 50-50-ish.
Teenagers and younger, like almost guaranteed they speak
Teenagers
English.
and younger usually speak pretty good English. They teach it in school here.
Yeah,
now.
I worked with some kiddos at a local school. We did some volunteering for a couple of months, and some of the kids that were like maybe young teenagers, they spoke English so well, without accents. Like I would say you wouldn't, like if it wasn't for the setting, you wouldn't know they were Albanian. They just spoke English so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of something to keep in mind. Learn a few words and be ready to not have people who speak English. Like when we travel to Germany, it was easy. I mean, we tried to still learn some German words just to be nice, but
we butchered them all. Or at least
not all of them.
I did.
But everybody there could speak English.
Yeah.
Don't expect that in Albania.
Yeah.
Most people
you can get around, you can get by, but it's not as easy as like Germany. Yeah, literally everyone.
Yeah.
You'd hear, it wasn't uncommon to hear Germans sitting around you just having conversations in English. And again, we are only talking about Berlin.
Yeah. Here it is pretty rare, actually. Not that you'll see YouTube videos like, oh, so many people speak English, and like they're only dealing with like wait staff at restaurants where there'll be young people and they will often speak English. But outside of that, I find it's pretty rare to find people.
I would say, yeah,
English.
like the doctor's office, the bank, government buildings, it was certainly much more challenging.
Yeah.
I had to use a lot of translating or have someone with me.
But you'll be fine. People are friendly here, and that's the good thing. One of the good things about technology is you do have a translator in your pocket that you can use, and you'll be able to get by, and it'll be all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
last tip.
Oh, Italian came to me better than any other language. And does very well with French.
Looking at the comments.
That is something like, so if you happen to be a Greek speaker, this part of Albania, you can get by really well with Greek because a lot of people here speak Greek. If you are like Southern Albania is going to be a lot of Greek speakers. Anywhere from kind of graduating from Southern up to Northern Albania, you will find a lot of people who also have Italian as a second language. So if you speak Greek or Italian, there's a pretty good chance that you won't have any problems whatsoever.
That was very much true in Tirana. Lots of cab drivers spoke Italian. So when people would realize that we didn't speak ship, they would always then ask us if we spoke Italian.
Yeah.
Not always, but there were certainly a lot of Italian speakers up there.
Yeah, and here it's Greek. So, I mean, that's the only way I've gotten by.
That's been really helpful. Your Greek skills have been really helpful.
At the end, it's been a lifesaver. But and so just be aware that language is can be a barrier.
Challenging.
It's not like going to France where people will speak English. It's just not, which is part of the excitement. It's like it's old world travel.
Yeah.
So the next thing I'll talk about, the last two subjects are kind of intertwined, and that's like when you want to travel here.
I didn't see that one.
And that's like the party scene and traveling on shoulder season. So you might see all these beautiful videos, especially like Samil, which they call like the Maldives of Europe.
It looks so
beautiful turquoise water and islands, and it's just looks so gorgeous. But if you go there midsummer, I mean, I hope you like club music, because it's like it can be a bit of a wild party scene. Beaches can be absolutely packed. That's just so you know, like don't come and expect, it's going to be relaxing and nice. It can be a bit much for someone like me. If you like that kind of scene, then you'll have a great time.
I've certainly heard that about Saranda, which probably isn't a surprise to anyone who's done a little bit of research about Albania.
Yeah, even Vlora, which is like more of a real city. It's like Saranda and Semil are really like tourist cities, especially Semil. If you go to Semil in the off season, there's nobody there. You won't even be able to find a restaurant to eat in. Um, I made the mistake of going there, and I walked for 45 minutes around town looking for a place to eat once before I finally found one.
You think it's still like that now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just there with my parents.
Oh, that wasn't that long ago.
Oh, yeah, and we went. It wasn't even it was more the shoulder season, and there was nobody there. It was empty. But you go there midsummer, and it's going to be a bit of a zoo. And the same with Saranda. So if you get like a beachfront hotel, be ready to like hear like club music until like midnight. That can be a thing.
Yeah.
And fireworks and all sorts of other things. So
Pogradec can be a little noisy in the summer too. Not as bad as those places, but there were some times where like I could hear music on the coast or on the beach until like they tend to turn it off like midnight. It doesn't go super super late like into the morning, at least not here. But there have been a couple nights that were obnoxiously noisy, but not every night.
Yeah. So again, Semil is really only going to be a place you would visit midsummer, and it will be crazy. Saranda it's a really nice town, and if you go in the shoulder season, I always prefer to travel in the shoulder season. I don't want to be around a bunch of tourists, but sometimes I do like to go to touristy places because they have a lot to offer. There's a reason people go to those places, right?
Sure.
And Saranda is a really nice little town. If you go pre-season, in May, April, May, you'll probably have a nice time. Even better to go in September because the water will still be warm and you can go swimming, and it won't be as much of a zoo as it will be if you go there in July. It's going to be like a party. It's going to be like spring break, basically.
Yeah.
It'll be packed. The traffic will be insane. Good luck. It's hard to park there in the off season. Like
really?
Good luck.
Oh wow! Do they have parking garages or?
I don't remember any parking garages. I do remember circling like a quarter of the city multiple times to find a spot, and that was in the shoulder season. That was in I'm trying to think. It was when my parents were here visiting time before last, and it may have been September or it may have been May. I don't remember, but even that time of year, parking was a bit of a nightmare. So, yeah.
We have a question. Do you know any expats that are dating here? Wondering what the vibe is.
We are.
I don't think that's what they meant.
Not. I mean,
not besides Jesse.
well, we are. Like there. I mean, do you mean like expats dating each other or dating?
I think
like
they mean
Albanians?
dating Albanians is what I'm guessing that you meant.
I have
wrong.
Yeah, I have a friend here who is dating an Albanian. They seem to have they've been together for a while and they have a really good relationship.
I know of one in Tirana. They've been married for a few years. My son dated an Albanian girl. She was lovely for a few months, but they went their separate ways. I don't know. Like, I think it depends. I would say it might be harder here than other places, and I don't know that for a fact because I haven't traveled the world and tried dating other places, but I think it might be harder here than some places. I think people are more conservative as far as like approaching the opposite sex.
Yeah.
Do you think that's true?
I don't know if that's true, but it's definitely different. I think you and I had this discussion privately about like dating here before, like right when we had first met each other, and it was like, I'm glad I met you and you're glad you met me because there are some cultural differences and it can make things like a little bit more difficult. Like for instance, things are more traditional. Like I was told by a friend that when he started dating a girl, he actually had to ask permission from her ex-boyfriend.
Oh, I've heard that.
And that was like a normal thing. And then the friend I was talking about a few minutes ago, I haven't named him because their relationship is secret because her family didn't want them to date or doesn't want her dating at all.
That was also true for Jesse. Like it was top secret.
Yeah. So
not to me, but like to the family. Like she didn't want her family to know.
Yeah, and there was even this really, really, really nice young man who, if you ever watched the interview that was done here with CNN, he isn't the guy who interviewed me, but he was the camera guy, and just a real friendly guy. I got to speak with him for a few minutes because I'm into photography and he is into the cameras and stuff like that. And it was like a couple of weeks after I had that interaction with him, he actually committed suicide because apparently the family, he wanted to date this girl and the family was not having it. And yeah, so there's some very ancient kind of cultural things here. So like basically if you want to date, put it like that, if you want to date someone, you really got to get in with the entire,
the whole family,
her brothers or his sisters and the mother and the father.
I've certainly heard that from Albanian men describing it to me in Toronto, like what it's like for the women. Like they are very, very protected by the males in their family.
Yeah.
He described it to me. He said the women are the pride of the family and you don't mess with that.
Yeah.
So you know, there are dating apps that people here use.
Maybe different in Toronto, but like, you know, outside of the big city areas, maybe a little different in Florida. But when you get into like these more traditional places, it's a very family centric, and you're not just going to date someone and then bring them home to mom and dad. Like mom and dad are going to be on top of that shit immediately.
Yeah,
they want to know.
And we're talking about adults too. We're not just talking about like okay, so for the teenagers, they didn't want to know, but we're talking about like
20-year-olds, 30-year-olds.
Yeah, it's still very much the same. And now I will mention that before we met, I did get on a dating app for a couple of days in Toronto. And within 2 days, I turned it off because there were a lot of men ready to date, but they were very quick to want to talk about getting married. So I don't know if you're male or female. I don't know if we saw that. But the men were ready to move quick. So if you're ready to move quick, that might be a good option for you. But it can be a little bit, it's a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure. So that's just something to keep in mind. For better or for worse, I mean, there's some good aspects to that, and there are some really toxic aspects to that. And so it's just
if you want that close family.
Yeah.
But you might really have to work at it.
They will be in your business. The brothers and sisters and mom and dad, they are going to, I mean, it's going to be, they're going to be in your business. So just so you know that. We'll go back to, unless there's any more questions, unless anybody has any more specific questions about dating here, we'll go back to just kind of wrap this up too.
Yeah, we've been going for a while.
Yeah, just to say, if you do come here, be aware, like the city's on the coast. There's going to be, like you come here midsummer, it's going to be a bit of a party scene. Don't expect it to be a serene holiday sitting on the beach. You know, the beach is going to be packed full of people. There's going to be people playing volleyball. There's going to be potentially some loud music and things like that.
Yeah.
That goes into the night. So if you rent this beautiful beachfront condo, there may very well be like electronic music, you know, being played in a dance club on the beach that night. So
yeah. And even in a quieter place like Pogradec, we do have some noisy nights in the summer for sure.
Yeah, but it's not too bad. I can't imagine it's anything like Saranda or Sumio or even Vlore, where like their beachfront is like set up for in the summer.
Yeah,
it's
I can imagine.
Set up for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, like travel in the shoulder season, you'll probably have a much better time. Things will still be open. You know, you travel in fall or in spring, and it'll be a really really nice experience, and you'll probably have a really good time, and it won't be as crazy. Yet you'll still be able to find live music and things like that, and it'll be fun. So that's just some things to keep in mind. Just some things to keep in mind. Yeah.
I see a lot of people starting to check out, and thank you all for coming.
Thank you,
Spider
everyone.
Webster, I'm not getting all the comments in real time, so everyone who joined us today, thank you so much. Europats, glad you could finally make it. Alessi Scrabble Buddy, Michelle, Dan.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, and we really appreciate it. Somebody had asked about the medical system here.
Oh, I have a video coming out about it tomorrow.
Okay, so Andrea's channel, New Life Albania. Check that out. I will have a video coming out tomorrow as well about the ancient bridge that's near here from the 2nd century BC, and then it was rebuilt by the Ottomans around the 1600s, and it's part of the Via Egnatia, or Via Ignatia, depending on how you pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like my history videos, I'll have that. I tried to get it out today, but I ran into some technical problems. So yeah, if you have medical questions, check out Andrea's video tomorrow.
Yeah, I have a couple of previous ones. I have actually like a playlist of at least 2 videos related to my experiences with the healthcare industry here, and I got one coming out tomorrow. It's just a walk and talk where I talk about a recent experience and compare some prices, and yeah.
Yeah, and if you're interested in Albanian history, then check mine out as well about the ancient bridge. And my dad just had a surgery, so shout out to you, Dad. I love you, and you're home now and recovering, and it makes me really happy to know that that's done with, and now you're just healing. So
glad everything went well.
Congratulations on getting past that. And hello, Alyaz. I saw your wave.
Hey, Alyaz.
Appreciate you catching up with us in the last 3 minutes of our live stream. Really.
Maxwell, thanks for joining us. Amers, and anyone that forgive me if I didn't see your name. Jeff, Dan,
everybody. Michelle, not Namir, which is good night in Albanian. So we'll continue with the lesson there. Yeah, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Not Namir, good night, and we'll see you next Sunday. Yeah, Mirapoption.